poems are about both poems are about poetry, actually. The first one is called Prize Winner Somewhere in London, and it's got an introduction. In dreams there is truth, Sigmund Freud. I arrive, heart pounding in a great hall, to hear my name ringing through the stilled air. Struggling to breathe, I stride between the massed ranks of kneeling poets who are banging their heads on wooden floorboards. Is this my fault? My doing? Am I truly the genesis of their wretchedness? As I near the platform, the sound grows ever louder. My eyes begin to smart. Surely they must stop soon, or else their bones will splinter. Oh, surely they must stop. But the head-crashing ferocity is maintained. Male voices cry out, cheat, poetaster, unworthy. From the back of a hall, a woman cries, not fair! Yet above all this tumult I see a vision, the oh so gently smiling face of the prize giver. My heart leaps like a salmon as this matchless beauty ushers me over the last few paces. Such is my joy, I feel the milk of celestial mothers sweeten my lips. Hands trembling, I take the cheque and am then ordered, by way of custom, to drink from the bejewelled chalice filled with the tears of the losers. This done, she whispers, now for the difficult part, O poet, the feeding of pearls to the unappreciative. Affect humility. Say unto thyself, remember, O supremely gifted one, thou art merely mortal. The sound of banging heads rises to a new crescendo, and I sense the full force of their injured merit. There follows a stiff, formal, but far from ecstatic silence, into which I attempt to read my prize-winning poem in a manner that is both respectful and unassuming. Thank you. That's the first one. The second one is called My Tragic Muse. I think it is. Yeah, my tragic muse. She sees no merit whatsoever in all the base conceits of tiresome jesters, of a debauched mockery of Corso goose. She's just not in the mood for anything remotely rude. But show her an incest-blinding Greek, waving crimson fingers on a stage, and she will sink into a sad but rapturous dream. And show her the mighty Tamerlane whipping along some tear-anointed kings, and she will go and weep in the dark orchard where no bird ever sings. But a custard pie in the face, a nosegay squirting water where it didn't ought to, my tragic muse would never countenance such things. Medusa-like she stands behind a mirror as I shave. Behave, she cries. In the name of all that really matters in this world, behave. I turn around, she's gone, but her voice remains, cold and distant like frost upon a moonlit grave. Must you always be the comic stooge, the shameless fake, the lewd impenitent buffoon? And must you always treat me like some sad pretentious fool? Have you nothing better in your life to do? I puff my cheeks, I'm amazed and my brain aches. I fight back a tear, but I'm obdurate, and will not write of Tamerlane and tear-anointed kings, and that dark place in the orchard where no bird ever sings. Thank you.
You bring a tear to our eye in a very funny way, Jim. Lovely.
Thanks a lot.
Just love the spirit behind your poetry. It's lovely. Thank you. Appreciated. Yeah. Mohammed, are you ready for us?
Indeed I am, yes.
Thank you.
I have 3 poems, and I'm going to read them out to you. But before that, maybe a little singing. You say it's your birthday, well, it's my birthday too, yeah. We're gonna have a good time. Yes, we're going to a party. Yes, we're going to a party. Ooh, I would like it to dance. Party, take a chance. Yeah. Sometimes it's everybody's birthday. My birthday, I share with one of my cousin sisters. She's about 5 years older than me, but, we get to remember each other's birthday, pretty regularly. And she looks fairly young, for her age. Okay, so my first poem is Meanings of Life. What purport does the question of life's meaning have, and when should I look for answers? The dews of winter have accompanied memories to way before land. Now the lower or higher all-white clouds bring on the sea, the tea and easy chairs, instigators to inquiry about it all. Our intricate life cells never give up birthing curiosity. Oceans manage to make rain end droughts. What consequence will harangue if the answer to life gets throttled? A meteor strike of an impact or an opposite? A bellow of a snail unheard? No consequence. In other words, someone will find life's answer. Perhaps when I am on my way, on my journey after the end, to Allah's angels. Questions of life. I like to be philosophical, like to ask what life is. It's a question of some purport. The next one I wrote just the other day. I went to Heron Keys. I was sitting, and just enjoying the sunshine. It wasn't this intense. And I wrote this poem by the lake. Days we thought precious. These days have been so gratifying, the undying flicker of a candlelight, the summer sun on Napes. The passing faces have shown smiles and spoken pleasantries. The waves of lakes have been pleasant green and ever there. Our lives are like songs that we collect like butterflies for nectar, the constellations clear on June-loved cloud-clear nights. We pass through live tunnels made by clock faces, counting moments till the stage lights dim. The silent near building, gulls fly homeward, the inspirations for love, light up with living room bulbs. These days are marked by loving hearts, when the stadium cheers or tender docklands daydreams mingle with yearnings for the best life can give. Memory must hold on, since these days will not return to caress us that way again.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the present and how the present is very enticing, but nothing stays. Nothing stays.
It's not pleasant.
Well,
It's not for me.
The aspects of the present days that I was mentioning, those are enticing. If I start listing the not enticing bits, then it's a long list, and probably my poem would resemble yours, Jim. The dark side and all of that. The dark side, because there is a dark side. I mean, there are awful things these days. But,
exactly. The world is not necessarily a good place, Jim, but our own lives could be good places.
I mean, we're lucky to actually have lived as long as we have, because there's going to be a nuclear catastrophe, and we probably might just miss it. But it's just going to happen.
Well, I hope not.
Yeah, that can happen anytime, because they'll target London. Putin said, London. He's going to target London.
These days I just wake up and smell the roses, Jim. So
yeah,
probably the best thing to do. Yeah.
Okay, so the third one is saying bye to the world. So here I'm thinking about a little bit about exiting this wonderful mixed stage, wonderful and dark. Saying bye to the world. It's so easy to leave the world with parting thoughts of how it should be. What is, and what can be is that hypothetical thought of dreamers. Each person has a picture of the ideal world, with Edens and hopes, endless lengths of pace and time. It's not hard to say your prayers before the flight of the sun-blessed soul, the rain-touched inner worlds, the brooding mind of red rose scents, and happy vibes after long summer drives. It's not so difficult to be a departer with no regrets, since life gives its camellias and dandelions, its waves of bye-bye, and thanks in bird trills from the trees of brightest green.
I love the joy in your poems, Mohammed.
Yes. Thank you. It's the bright side. It's the bright side, because it's sunny. So
Well, it's not up here. It's not, up here, it's kind of we've been raining all afternoon, but it's brightening up a bit now. See, there you are. It's kind of okay out there.
Yeah. Saturday was very pleasant. Saturday Docklands was very pleasant.
Yeah.
I was sitting in the shade and admiring the sparkle of the sun on the lakes. The lake was a green sheen, a green color, and I was mesmerized by all the, all that was going on, including the sailing boats and all of that. And the buildings didn't look too bad either. So as I sat relaxed.
You take a lot of inspiration from what you see, don't you? The world around you.
When I allow myself, and find the time, because I pass by Heron Keys a lot, but I've never really gotten off the train and sat beside the lake, So I gave myself a little time to just take it in, and then I could project.
Good stuff. Thank you, Mohammed. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Joel, are you ready for us?
Yes, I can give you 3. These are basically, I'm trying to go back over material I've got, a lot of sort of travel poems, and trying to assemble them into sort of a group of poems. And so, of course, going back, I'm now polishing them. So this is what I've been polishing recently, but actually I wrote initially in 2009. I was staying at the Red Cross Hostel in Townsville in Queensland, opposite, across the square from where Laura had been taken in because she'd had a stroke, and I needed to be nearby in case the worst happened or whatever. I guess I was needed. Anyway, the Red Cross Hostel, I had to share a room with an old guy, and I hadn't been really to Australia before. I'd passed through Sydney, but not really ever been to Australia as such. And this old guy, he was an archetypal Australian, as you imagine an Australian would be. He was a great guy, actually. Anyway, this is entitled Just the Croc, at the Red Cross Hostel, Townsville, North Queensland, 2009. Look, says Curly, as we have to share this room, I wouldn't want to give you a fright, so I think I'd better tell you, see. Sometimes in the night, I shout out, see. Sometimes when I'm worried like now I'm about to have this op, it tells me they have to cut half my nose off. Under local mind, they say they can't risk it, putting me right under with my heart and all, 80 years and all. They say it's my call, but I'm worried like, so I think you better know. I might shout out in the sleep. It's always the crocodile, always the croc. I was young then, went fishing with my mates, used a special lure that I'd made myself. Bloody thing got stuck in some twigs and weed. I went down to fetch it out. My mates told me not to, said, what about the croc? The old sortie that wandered thereabout. But I'd made me lure. I didn't want it lost. So not thinking of the likely cost, went down the bank, took me 5 minutes to getting down that slope and 30 seconds getting up. How I got away, I never know. It was instinctive like. He takes off his trousers, scars from deep bites, tooth marks all up one leg. I must have kicked his face. Only 30 seconds up that bank. Now look at me. Never a day's illness until 20 years ago. And now this cancer and everything. Never a day's illness. Always well and free. He removed his shirt. Each side, his spine, deep puncture scars show white. He sees me look. Oh, those, he says. Well, see, I used to ride the bulls. One tossed and gored me, broke me back in 3. Took me a while getting right, but never a day's illness. Now look at me. cancer and the Hartle crook. Can't stand the needles. Now, if I call out in the night, you know it's just the croc. And this one also, I mean, it came to me. I mean, God knows what the weather will be like in the UK shortly, but Australia in Queensland came as a bit of a shock. Really, the heat. It was a summer, and it was just. I always thought in England you have a beautiful. On a good day, you get a dome of blue over your head, and it's sort of. But in Australia, you got a vertical wall of blue from the horizon vertically up to infinity. It was like a wall of blue, and you hid in the shade as much as you could. It was just, it was just unreal. Anyway, this is the same year. This dry, North Queensland, August. Each day, this dry, after a brief night's chill, has shocked the early morning. A weighted sun falls from a blue sheet of sky. Light occupies every square centimetre. Dark shadows, every square centimetre, dark shadows fail to guard. It burns my eyes. Hot winds blow dust and smoke. A hillside burns with orange flame. The green retreats. I'm desiccated, emptied of all hope, empty, homesick for rain. And my third poem is a bit later, 3 years later, in Tunisia, Douga, ancient Roman remains, Tunisia, March 2012. Here, encircled by wildflowers and green wheat fields, I can see a cut stone sill sits upon another. And although battered now, each still glows warm in the dazzling light. I can see the outline, the stump of a house and that of another house, a grid of narrow streets, but there are no city voices, no passing chariots with snorting horses. Above, only the skylarks song claiming the sky.
Wow. Thank you very much, Joel. It's wonderful to have those experiences, those memories of places and people, and you express them so well. I mean, I think we're all impressed with the tough Aussie. I mean,
he was great. He had two grandsons, both rugby players, and one had been made man of the series of a grudge match between Queensland and New South Wales, the series, and he was named the player of the series, but he didn't say anything to his granddad. He just turned up at the hospital so he could sit in with his granddad for the op, and didn't mention it at all. His granddad Curly only found out about it the next day. It was amazing.
Yeah.
He was just much loved guy.
And the juxtaposition of the fierceness of the crocodile biting you and the cancer biting him, it's the way you combine the two. Yeah.
Thank you.
Right. Well, thank you. Lovely. Nice to hear your poems again, Joel. Norman, how you doing?
Not too bad, George. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Perfectly.
I'll tell you why, because in my screen, I've lost my unmute. Never mind.
Well, you're nice and quiet. You're not disturbing anyone, so that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. Right. Peter, can I just check? I can't believe this. I know that last month I read Butterflies, okay? But I cannot remember the first poem I wrote. So I've looked out some poems. I don't want to repeat it. I'm not putting you in the spot, but if I said to you Bob a Job, does that ring a bell? Bob a Job. If it's no, then that's fine.
Yeah. Bob Job's Boy Scouts.
Yeah. Yeah.
But in relation to Norman's, what he read last month.
Jim, do you remember me reading Bob a Job last month?
No, I just know Bob Job is about Boy Scouts.
Okay, right.
Anyway, you've got a different audience now.
Well,
So
that's true.
Different audience. I mean, I've got three pretty short here, but what I'll do is what I've got is what I call just sort of short descriptive narratives, and a sort of a bit of free verse. So it's not all highly disciplined rhyming, poetry and timing, etc. But what I'll do is I maybe save Bob a Job. Let me start with this one, which is called Azzurri. Now, Azzurri, it's basically the Italian football team are known as Azzurri, the Blues, because the House of Savoy, before became a republic, was predominantly blue, and they've stuck with that, though there's now no blue in the international flag. And although Italy are not in the World Cup, this is what it's prompted me, right? Although Italy amazingly are not in the World Cup this year, I wrote this just after they won the European Championship, and what it is, I've called this player Azzurri, okay, and it's about just knowing your place, no matter how famous you become. Okay, Azzurri, you may have conquered Europe and built your gated villa on the Orchid Hill, but take me down to the village square, where the children play hide and seek amongst the market stalls that smell of fresh fruit and catches from the cobalt sea. I people watch. See the tourists trek and admire the ornate white church, where Madonna and Child look down upon them. Suddenly, the bells ring out, and the vision of a young bride dressed in virgin white and flowing jet black hair appears. She holds her posy of flowers close to her bosom and smiles radiantly to the foreign congregation. The old men, playing cards at their chosen table in the shade, have seen it all before, so they drink their coffee and simply let the day unfold. Azzurri, you are blessed with a gift to play the beautiful game, with style, elegance and swagger, to play for your country and realize the dream of fame and riches. So come, sit with me now, watch the life in this village square, for this is where you came from, lest you ever forget. There we'll have it. When I was 18 going 19, I'd worked a full summer away from home in an oil yard up in a fabrication yard up in the north of Scotland, where they built the jackets, where they put the oil rigs onto the big huge jackets. But when I got back, I had my GCSEs and A-levels, but I had no idea other than, well, I might skip college or university, try and get a job, make some money. And so I ended up in the city of Aberdeen, a bit green behind the ears, if that's the right phrase. And in the space of 6 months, I had 2 sets of digs where there was all sorts of weird and wonderful characters in these places, right? So this is a summary of some of them. And I will put my hand up. I think I'm approaching about 175 poems now in my my lifetime, because I've written on and off. But this is the first time in my life I've actually written something pretty vulgar. It's in the first verse only, but it's relevant. Now, a lot of what I'm going to share with you might sound a bit funny. It wasn't funny at the time. Right. So this is called Far Away from Home. The landlord's mistress, she has a smelly vagina and wishes to feed me porridge in the morning. I've got to get out of here. He stands in my doorway in the shadows. Hi, my name is Johnny Rossi. I'm here to escape from the ice cream wars in Glasgow. He boasts he drives a Ford Cortina 1600E, a girl magnet, he says. He wishes to befriend me, but I keep thinking of Glasgow gangsters with knives or razor blades. I've got to get out of here. Murray marches into the room wearing his Territorial Army uniform, clean-cut, military chic, but he listens to the archers. Could be code language. The IRA are planting letter bombs in town. I've got to get out of here. Deepak, an Indian chef, bursts into my room. He wears a purple turban. His head is furnished further with a pointy black beard. Blood is pouring from his lips. A racist attack in the local dance hall. He is swearing in an aggressive Indian accent. He has aspirations to be a 3-star chef in a swanky hotel in Bangalore. He needs to get out of here. I walk into my room. Davy is toasting bread on a fork in front of the gas fire. Davy is our resident hippie. He wears a fox fur coat and looks the part, with Goldilocks shoulder-length hair. He often carries a faded, jaded acoustic guitar. His girlfriend offers me a joint. There is a mystic smell in the air. Thing is, there is a sign in the hallway. No girls or women to be taken back to your room. I've got to get out of here. It's a hot, steamy summer night. When I walk into my room, a police sergeant is standing in the corner. I introduce myself as a tenant in this God-forsaken place. I'm told Davy is an A&E. He swallowed an LSD tablet and thought he could fly, so he slammed his arms through the toilet window along the corridor and cut his wrists. I am searched. My belongings and cabinets are searched. Nothing. I've got to get out of here. I am moved to another room. There is a thin dividing wall, not muffling the sound of an oilman having sexual intercourse vigorously with who knows. I'm going to get out of here. Right.
Very, very interesting. Yeah.
Do you want to hear Bob a Job? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, well, so that was 1819, and I got out of there, yeah, and life sort of went nicely that way for many years. But when I was 10, 11, I was a Cub Scout, whatever you want to call it, right? And when you think about it, the things that we did within Bob a Job, right? I mean, all this health and safety carry on and political correctness, it just wouldn't happen now. We were let loose, you know, and where I was brought up was 31 miles west of Aberdeen, and it was in Deeside, and it was a very nice part of the country, in a village that had a mixture of working class or upper class. There was very little in between. So there was really some large houses dotted around this village, north and south of the river. And it was the large houses that we targeted doing Bob a Job, because we thought, well, you know, we're going to get some money. So this is just a little descriptive narrative of a Bob a Job back in the day. Bob a Job. It was a crisp morning in the Highland village, and we were on a Bob a Job mission. Dressed in our clean Cub uniforms, my best school friend and I walked gingerly up the rustic sandy driveway. It was bordered by majestic conifers swaying gently in the breeze. Each footstep crunched underneath, announcing our arrival at the imposing front door of the large country house. I tugged at the metal bell handle, which triggered a couple of clangs. Eventually, footsteps grew louder, followed by the turning of the lock and the slip of a bolt. The door slowly heaved open, and there stood the handyman. Judging by his furrowed brow and weather-beaten, wrinkled face, he appeared to have lived a hard life, and no doubt could tell a tale or two over a dram of whisky. "Good morning. We are Bob-a-Job Cubs. Have you any jobs for us?" We were greeted with a grunt and signalled to follow him into the house. We entered an oak-panelled hallway, and after several steps we saw the head and antlers of a magnificent stag deer looking down upon us. We continued on a short dim-lit walk through to the kitchen. There the handyman announced us to the lady of the house. Her cheeks were glowing from the heat of the kitchen aga. "Birch logs need to be chopped," she summoned at us with a sideways glance. And so we were let loose with an axe to share. We chopped and transferred the logs into large wooden baskets. Then we shared the basket lifts back into the wood room. When we returned to the kitchen, a smell of newly baked cakes filled the air. Even at our age, we smelt and felt the atmosphere of wealth. The lady was so kind, for she first paid us with 2 shillings and then handed us 2 large warm slices of cherry cake. Nothing more was said. The handyman, with no expression, escorted us back through to the front door and granted, if not grunted, us "on your way, farewell." There was a spring in our steps as we made our way back down the driveway. I could not help but think that I was poor and the lady was rich, but that was all right for now. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Norman. Oh, wonderful. Really good stuff. I thought you'd wandered into Balmoral Kitchen there.
Yeah, could have been like that. Yeah.
Yeah, with the stags on the wall. Yeah. And I love the way you pick up on the kind of poverty of the environment in I've got to get out of here. There's all sorts of influences there, and that I can part identify with. But it's great how poets can pick up on these things. So
yeah, the only thing I'm disappointed about is, I mean, it's a kind of sort of, there is timing in it, but it's not classical poetry. It's just a description of kind of the things that would happen, in short bursts. I could tell you more about all these characters, and they were characters. But yeah, I do sometimes disappoint myself. I can write good rhyming, timing poetry and what have you, but in saying that, if it flows, I say just let it go. Whatever you call it, descriptive, narrative, free verse, just let it go.
Absolutely. I mean, Joel's one was wonderful, and that your stuff is wonderful as well. It is, to me, it's poetry, because it's putting together so many aspects of life in a beautiful language. It doesn't have to rhyme and have meter and all that stuff.
Yeah, but if you look at that sort of poetry, you notice that there's half rhymes and stuff like that.
Yes.
It's not a dada, game same kind of. It could be gameplay or whatever or anything. There's a half rhymes and
absolutely, yeah. It's about word choices, and I enjoyed that as much as I'd probably enjoy The Darkling Thrush by Hardy or something. It's got its own way.
Yeah, I mean, people don't use half rhymes. I mean, it's very naive, really. It's every kind of poet who takes it seriously will use half rhymes a lot, probably a lot more than full rhymes.
Yeah. Any idea where Steve's gone? He seems to have disappeared on us somewhere.
Isle of Wight has obviously floated out into the channel.
Well, we've still got Nick, fortunately. Nick,
hey,
are you ready?
Yep. Right. Yeah, I'm hoping Steve hasn't got hit by one of them Russian warships.
Well, maybe they've abducted him.
Traveling up the channel, making use of themselves. Yeah, this one's called IV. 6 hours in the comfy chair, water dripping from the bag, one drip every second or two, 45 a minute. I do the maths very wrong and get 240 an hour. It's more. The flow rate is still very slow. There's 5 hours and 45 minutes to go. The cannula is uncomfortable, and the hand they took blood from on my ankle because it wants to join in. There's not much else to think about except for these little nagging pains. Nobody talks to you here. The nurses chat in Chinese. There's 5 hours and 42 minutes to go. I've tried to say hello to fellow patients, but I'm frozen out by mobile phones. Yesterday, when the water had all gone, so had the potassium. They checked my blood. It was not there. It evaporated into the air. There's 5 hours and 41 minutes to go. And so today they try again. Did I mention the flow rate is slow? There's 5 hours and 41 minutes to go.
Very witty.
Glad you still got a pulse, Nick. So it's good sign
Yeah,
up in a pulse.
just one of my numbers was low.
Yeah.
Felt
have you,
fine.
have you got any more for us, Nick?
Yep. This is a short one. It's called
Right.
Admitted.
Right.
I've never been scanned so often. Data boy, data man. That's what I am now. Data man. They measure my blood, my ticker, blood pressure, wristband. Not just a name, a date of birth. Data boy, data man. Nothing to do but be measured and slowly, so slowly refilled.
Oh, yeah. Admitted. Mm.
And this one, we had a theme for the poetry group on Tuesday, which was "Where has all the water gone?" So this one is imaginatively called "Where has all the water gone?" Drip, drip, day after day, slowly seeping into London clay, leaching the soil away. Pressure builds, a pipe corrodes, and rupturing it explodes in a fountain, flooding busy roads. Taps run dry, people moan. Where has all the water
you're
gone?
frozen.
Get Thames Water on the phone. Repairs not done, leaks
Everybody's
ignored.
frozen.
Not the priority of the board,
Oh,
who add to the shareholders' money hoard. The CEO drinks champagne, rarely sees the London rain. He's on holiday in Bahrain.
Very witty, Nick. I think Thames Water in trouble, aren't they, with all the sort of pollutions and whatnots down there?
They have made a whopping loss.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how you managed to lose quite as much money as they have.
No, no. Well,
I'd check the CEO's bank account if I were them.
Yeah. Right, we'll get away from possibly hospitals and illness and bad water and see what Peter's got.
Yes. Down near Honor Oak Station, Thames Water have been doing a whole long road of closing bits off and redoing the pipes, about half a quarter mile long. They got up to the top of the road and now there's a leak halfway down. They've just repaired. Right, I'm going to read a couple of poems by Yi Sha, Chinese poet, born 1966. And I'm going to read them in translation.
Oh, good.
I am a wrongly written Chinese character. I am a wrongly written Chinese character on a blackboard in some village primary school. I can't remember. I can't remember whose hand it was that wrote me or exactly what year it was. I anxiously look out at those children. They stare up at me with perfect trust. A wrongly written Chinese character leading generations of young kids astray. One year, I don't remember when, a teacher from someplace else came along and rubbed me out with her delicate hand, and I turned into a swirl of chalk dust inside her sun-filled lungs. The only face I remembered that year. To describe him as repulsively ugly and sly would be appropriate, as well as convenient and simple. But how irresponsible. It would amount to saying nothing, because you still wouldn't know what he actually looked like. Over the past year, his is the only face I remember out of all the strangers I've seen. Emaciated, the face of an ordinary worker by a crematorium furnace. That day, I was pushing the corpse of my mother along the trolley when he blocked my path and said, "Leave it to me. There's nothing more for you to do here." I gave him the box of 555 cigarettes I had brought with me. This he took without the slightest reaction and turned away, pushing the trolley, the man who was to give my mother her send-off. And born in the time of Mao, I had no choice in the shape of my belly button and no say in how unsightly it's turned out. But I have no wish to be always scraping muck from it to show to other people.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
There's a naval poem, was it, that one?
Oh, yes.
We're still missing Steve, aren't we? But I hope you're going to stick around for part 2, folks. I don't know how many of you can, but it'd be nice. This poem here was brought on by just a little item on the news about a year ago. I've called it Bonfire of the Canopies. Poor pretty Quetzal getting doused in petrol, with their feathers so bright being set alight by the avaricious farmer that inhabits Guatemala, who burns the cloud forest trees where Quetzals once took their ease in the holes of the boles of the old rainforest trees. And when they're all gone, we'll no longer hear their song. Oh, sad on that. And this is I think you'll recognise this industrial place, this urban place. It's called the New Wasteland, North Precinct, 12th noon. A grounded flock of pigeons dodge the passing feet for the reward of discarded chips and buns. A child keeps shouting, "I am a robot," to the stamp of his shoes, and his mother looks like she regrets a school strike day. A woman has her hair pulled back so tightly her frown has gone at the cost of giving her a massive forehead. Another robot reference, another expressionless face. Underfoot, under the birds, all is red herringbone paving bricks, in whose joints cigarette butts and chewing gum compete for space. Two agitated people try to persuade the world that Jesus is a pig, and a loud voice on a megaphone tells the world, "My boss says everything must go. £50 watches for a tenner." The shoe, later the kitchenware shop, has morphed into a pawnbroker's. Large posters now seem to scream from many shop fronts: salvage sale, clearance sale, closing down sale, buy now. A message heard now for a month of shopping days, hardly their red letter days, yet announced in red letters. The pound shops and the burger bars seem full enough, yet in all the to-ing and fro-ing, there seems little joy in the blank faces of the bag-carrying shoppers. A street musician knows 2 notes on his guitar, the amp and mic pitched loud enough to distort tune and lyric against the rumble and fumes of diesels, mixed with the grease and aroma of fried chicken in the air. 2 men lounge by their tent on the pavement unmoved, and almost with relief I leave London Road to turn down past the church hall where the homeless are being fed. Sad men stare into the distance, swaying and holding their cider cans, slurring words that I don't understand. Not dystopia, just a segment of a South London day. There we go. That'll do for now. Break time. Nick, do you have any poems to read, please, to us?
Oh, I could do something.
Thank you.
So this was a challenge to write about something complicated using words of 1 syllable. So this is called This is now. Look up, see the past. Look left, see the past. Look down, see the past. Look right, see the past. Look back, see the past. In front of you, the past. Light takes time to reach you. Look far to see the start. Up, left, down, right, back, front. There it is, the start. Always lead to it. Always lead from it. I am the past for you. For all things take time to move. Even light, even touch. Your own hand is in the past for you. So where is now? So what is now? It is just one thought that you think right now.
Very good. How many syllables in even?
What did I say even?
How many syllables in always?
You did say even.
Oh, one syllable in all and one syllable in ways.
You said even, didn't you?
I did say even.
You did say even. You even said that, didn't you?
Damn.
Another edit.
Sorry. Hush my
I
mouth.
should remove the word even from the cool.
Have you got any more for us, Nick?
Yeah. What's that? Sorry, things popping up. Not terribly happily.
No.
I will see if I can get there in a second to where I want to get to, as opposed to where naughty people want to take me. I think.
Anyway, sometimes it's the imperfections that make something perfect. So we forgive your syllable count. So yes.
You're too soft, George.
He's my mate, so I've got to let him off.
Yeah, I got to rewrite it. This is a
It's going to
sonnet.
be even harder with your mates.
This is a sonnet called Growing Old and Being Young. She grew older all her life until the stroke. Then we saw the little girl inside her, as though her vulnerability somehow woke a hidden playfulness behind the fear. If it was possible to love her more, it was that time as her brain reknit that made memories of her I most adore, and part of her that would skip and flit. The girl she carried forward to the end, always behind her serious pretense. And though her physical brain did mend, growing mature once more, even intense, we had met her younger self and knew a person, mother, more completely you.
That's lovely, Nick. My power leader slipped out, so I'm losing battery. I don't know why it's not charging. Anyway, 15% left. Yeah, that's lovely, that, Nick. Is that a recent one?
Yeah.
It's lovely.
Yeah, it's for the Croydon Library meeting tomorrow.
Right.
Which was on old and young, or something of the sort.
Okay. Now, are we going to carry on letting Steve get away with it, or make him read now?
Okay, I've found some stuff. So, okay, so this is. I'll just read. This is probably longer than. It's probably about 10 minutes, but I'll read about 3-4 minutes of it and then cut it off. It's one of my ongoing obsessions with the idea of a preface or writing a poem that's not a poem but about a poem. So, the actual poem is called "And Daphne, What a Dreadful Tale," about the story of Daphne and Apollo. And this is the preface. Preface, this is not a poem, but a preface to a poem, not a set of verses stuck together in an effort to appear in love with poetry, that fickle and capricious lover. Preface, this is not a poem, but a preface to a poem, not a boss, but more a PA, cynical enough to see the problems of the boss's business. Preface, this is not a poem, but a preface to a poem, one that looks at content pages as a way of understanding what the hell is going on. This might seem strange, but nonetheless, I'll try to make a case for concentrating on the contents pages with an apt analogy that you might like, a football match. Preface, this is not a poem, but a preface to a poem, one that seeks a way of understanding what is going on. By concentrating on the contents page, it might seem strange to do this with an apt analogy, or so I think, that you might like, or so I think, a football match. Before a match on TV, pundits check the team sheets, who will play and who will not. From this they guess the score, and if mistakes are made in team selection, who could make the errors that could lead to goals. The same is true with contents pages. Title and subtitle, if it's subdivided into sections, what those section headings are, who they refer to, in what order, what's suggested, what's omitted. We can guess from this the outcome of the verse, its flavour, what it tries to do if it succeeds. If you can persevere with this, the preface, which is not a poem, not go down the local pub and come back just in time to see the pundits stop pontificating, commentators pause before the whistle blows, the game begins, you'll hear the thoughts of thought-provoking Daphne, megastar of myth. The contents page was formally exactly as expected, with a list of sections of the poem, with a prologue and appendix, but it ended up like this. A word of warning. Prefaces are not supposed to be performed, unlike the verse, but be a prelude on the printed page or screen, equivalent to introductions on the stage where poets flail their arms about while speaking so enthusiastically about their work, or maybe not, but mumble deferentially about their influences. Keats, of course, the fucking drip, he's always there. It's not his fault. He didn't know he would be at the vanguard of a modern sensibility. Or simply smile and say hello. My preface is not the same. My preface is the same. It's not supposed to be performed. So if you hear me reading this, say, stop it. Prefaces don't want to be here, want to be back on the page and not be flaunted on the stage. As we're here, I'll introduce the contents with some comments from the subject of this dreadful tale, a nymph whose name is Daphne. Maybe you have heard of her already, maybe know her story, have opinions on it. If you do, revisionism such as this might bore you senseless. Nonetheless, I would suggest you persevere, if only for the perfect meter, made to measure as opposed to off the versifying peg, where quality means less than length. A criticism critics make, along with comments such as this. He counts his words, but do they count? And if they do, are they a plus or minus for our modern culture? Funny how their witty lines would not exist without my extraordinary writing. Bearing this in mind, I'll introduce the reader of the contents with some pithy comments of her own, or not, but that's another matter. Daphne, please, the page is yours.
Oh, well, Steve, I just catch one of your ideas, and then it's flown away somewhere else. And there's another idea, and it's flown away. I'm getting
Prefaces are good. Yeah, I mean, I'm reading a lot of John Dryden, and some of his poems are good, but his prefaces are often much better.
Yeah, you need Keats in the balls, didn't you, there, in the process?
Yeah, I know everyone loves Keats. I've been contrary by nature. I've got to hate it.
Yes. Right. Let's show him. No, I like your stuff. It's very, it's vibrant, really, and I love the rhythm of it as well. Yeah. Oh, Mohammed, are you there? I can't see his face. He's hiding. He's gone incognito. I'm assuming he's not here, but maybe listening. No, he's not here. Right. Joel, have you got anything for us, please?
Not a lot. I can read another. We're talking a lot about hospitals, so I'll do another hospital one.
That'll be good.
This is at Townsville Hospital. This is experience I had in Australia, where my wife was recovering, or not recovering, but being put back on her feet, I would describe it as. At the hospital, we mingle together, looking for hope, trying to be kind because life is not, accepting every sentimental phrase, knowing behind each tired word there lies meaning and a history. Words falling almost heedlessly from someone's mouth retain a memory of purpose. There are so many times we are all reduced to this, bludgeoned by life, yet we still respond. We remain human and cannot turn away. Here we are, pushing each other in wheelchairs, all the amputees, severed from loved ones, homes, memories, or limbs, painting on a brave face, telling each other, you have to laugh. Outside the glass, a bush turkey waits for fruitcake. Outside the glass, the street lights are decorated with cockatoos. Outside the glass, giant rain trees and paper gums fill with chatter and disputes of rainbow parakeets. Ibises march and probe the soil. Outside the glass, at 6:30, an inflated orange moon rises between the foxtail and lipstick palms. There's almost surreal incongruous of everything.
Two worlds.
I just lost the other one I was going to read you, but never mind. I'm sure there's something else. No, that's fun. I've read.
We could go to someone else if you're looking. If you want
to go to someone else.
Okay. Yeah. Nick, have you got anything else for us, please?
Well, I was reminded of this one since Keats came up. This is by Hera Lindsay Bird, and it's called "Keats is Dead, So Fuck Me From Behind." Keats is dead, so fuck me from behind, slowly and with carnal purpose, some black midwinter afternoon, while all the children are walking home from school. Peel my stockings down with your teeth. Coleridge is dead, and Auden too, of laughing in an overcoat. Shelley died at sea, and his heart wouldn't burn. And Wordsworth, they never found his body. His widow, mad with grief, hammering nails into an empty meadow. Byron, Whitman, our dog crushed by a garage door. Finger me slowly in the snowscape of your childhood. Our dead floating just below the surface of the earth. Bend me over like a substitute teacher and pump me full of shivering arrows of emotional vulnerability. Bosnian folk song, birds in the chimney. Tell me what you love when you think I'm not listening. Wallace Stevens' mother is calling him in for dinner, but he's not coming. He's dead too. He died 60 years ago, and nobody cared at his funeral. Life is real, and the days burn off like leopard print. Nobody, not even the dead, can tell me what to do. Eat my pussy from behind. Bill Manhire's not getting any younger.
Well, that's a spirited poem.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bill Manhire is a celebrated New Zealand poet, and she's from New Zealand as well. So he's like the respectability figure for New Zealand poetry.
Right. Okay.
So she had to go at him as well.
Right. And she's a New Zealander as well, presumably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I thought man-hire had some biological sense to it.
Yes.
Your man-hire is not getting any younger.
Oh, indeed.
Well, yeah. Well, thank you for that, Nick. It's good. Yeah.
Have you found get the title off once you've heard it?
Have you found what you're seeking, Joel? Have you found what you're seeking yet?
No.
No, all right.
Did I distract you too much?
You distracted you.
Peter will help us out, I
You go to
expect.
someone else. All right.
Yeah, Peter.
I'll read a couple of poems by John Heath Stubbs. Possibly, just a moment. Song of the Death Watch Beetle. Here come I, the Death Watch Beetle, chewing away at the great cathedral, gnawing the medieval beams and the magnificent carved rood screen, gorging on gospels and epistles from the illuminated missals. As once I ate the odes of Sappho and the histories of Manetho, the lost plays of Euripides and all the thoughts of Parmenides, the Sibyl's leaves which the wind scattered, and great Aunt Delia's love letters. Turn down the lamp in the cooling room. There stand I with my little drum. Death, watch. You are watching death. Blow out the lamp with your last breath. Send for Lord Timothy. The squire is in his library. He is rather worried. Lady Constance has been found stabbed in the locked blue room, clutching in her hand a fragment of an Egyptian papyrus. His degenerate half-brother is on his way back from New South Wales. And what was the butler Glubb doing in the Neolithic stone circle up there on the hill, known to the local rustics from time immemorial as the 9 lily-white boys? The vicar is curiously learned in Renaissance toxicology. A greenish Hottentot, armed with a knobbery, is concealed in the laurel bushes. Mother Mary Tiresias is in her parlour. She is rather worried. Sister Mary Josephus has been found suffocated in the scriptorium, clutching in her hand a somewhat unspeakable Central American fetish. Why was the little novice, Sister Agnes, suddenly struck speechless, walking in the herbarium? The chaplain, Father Auguste, is almost too profoundly read in the darker aspects of 4th century Neoplatonism. An Eskimo, armed with a harpoon, is lurking in the organ loft. The warden of St. Phenol's is in his study. He is rather worried. Professor Ostrakoden has been found strangled on one of the Gothic turrets, clutching in his hand a patchouli-scented lady's chiffon handkerchief. The brilliant undergraduate they just unjustly sent down has transmitted an obscure message in Greek elegiacs all the way from Tashkent. Whom was the domestic bursar planning to meet in that evil-smelling riverside tavern? Why was the senior fellow, old Dr. Mousebracket, locked in among the incunabula? An aboriginal Filipino pygmy, armed with a blowpipe and poison darts, is hiding behind the statue of Pallas Athene. A dark cloud of suspicion broods over all. But even now, Lord Timothy Prattingcole, the chimneys wonder, with a brain like Leonardo's, or Chief Inspector Palefox, although a policeman, patently a gentleman with the first in greats, or that eccentric scholar, Monsieur Monstrance, and lights from the chuffing train, has booked a room at the local hostelry, the Dragon of Wantley, and is chatting up mine host, entirely democratically, noting down local rumours and folklore. Now read on. The murderer will be unmasked, the cloud of guilt dispersed, the church clock struck at 3, and the year always 1920 or 30-something. Honey for tea, and nothing will ever really happen again.
That's wonderful, Peter. Well read as well. It was kind of cross between Agatha Christie and being lost in the British Museum, I think. Yeah. I'm gonna nip downstairs and see if I get another charging cable because it's down to 5% now, so I won't be a minute.
Okay.
Talk among yourselves,
Peter?
John Heath Stubbs.
John Heath Stubbs. Okay,
yes.
Cheers.
He's good. He's worth reading.
Yeah, sounds it.
I might see the interval for another short one. Yes. Right, it's poems for a calendar. This is June. In Persian gardens comes the royal rose, flaunting her beauty forth. But don't suppose, twitters her friend, the sweet-voiced nightingale, you will outlast the cold, the winter's snows. In Nishapur 1,000 roses bloom, glowing like lanterns in their dark leaves' gloom. But time shall douse these fires, they faint and fade, their petals drifted on the poet's tomb.
I found another cable, but it's shorter, so I have to see if it works. Yeah, no. Hang on. Yes.
Hooray.
Yeah. Right. Sorry about that. John Heath, who? John Heath. What's he called? The
John
Stubbs.
Heath Stubbs.
Stubbs. John
Stubbs.
Heath Stubbs.
Yeah.
I really like that stuff, you know.
Yes.
John Heath Stubbs. Like the painter, the horse painter.
Yes.
Yes. Oh. Joel, have you found anything yet?
I found another related to detectives, etc. This is
Right.
Holiday Reading, the detective novel.
Oh.
His girlfriend had been murdered, and I turned the page. The sad detective is in a rage to uncover the killer before another victim dies. I quickly turn the page. Inspiration strikes him. Author must be the mastermind behind all these crimes. He'll bring him in for questioning. It must be some cruel streak in the author's brain that lies behind so many deaths, so many left bereft, happy lives made bleak. But the detective needs some evidence to get him stopped. Some indication of an individual quirk or style, some clue that links this murder to the man. But so little is different from every other case. I turn the page. Then something the publisher let slip in the blurb jogs a memory in the detective's mind, an address to find the author in the act of plotting further crimes. They drive to the place. He sends his sergeant round the back and rings the bell. I turn the page. The next page is blank.
Yes. Excellent.
Finished.
Yes, very good that, Joel. And actually Mick fitting very well with Peter's poem as well. So
I thought it might. It sort of fitted there.
yeah. Mohammed, welcome back. You're muted. I'm muted, Mohammed. Right.
Yes.
He is muted still. Yes.
1 second. Yeah, I
Oh,
was
good.
doing a bit of sign language and mime,
Yes.
but so yes, yeah. Time for a couple of poems,
Okay.
and so this one is by John Updike. Cloud Shadows. That white coconut, the sun, is hidden by his blue leaves. Piratical great galleons. Our sky, their spanking sea, they thrust us to an ocean floor, with certain courtesy. These courtly cotton bellies rub around the jewel we live within, and down to the muddled hub. Drop compliments. Down shafts of violet fall counterweights of shadow. Hence brown, blue, and grey occur upon the chipmunk-colored earth's fur. Pine islands in a broken lake, beyond Laconia the hills, islanded by shadows, take in cooling middle distance. A motion from above, and lo, grave mountains belly dance. Right, so that's John Updike. And in other American poets, I heard live Maya Angelou. She came to Lewisham Theatre many years back, and she presented a show, and I was there. It was quite an interesting occasion. So this is Workers' Song. Big ships shudder down to the sea because of me. Railroads run on a twinness track because of my back. Whoopah, 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 whoopah. Cars stretch to a super length because of my strength. Planets fly high over seas and lands because of my hands. Whoopah, 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 whoopah. I wake, start the factory humming. I work late, keep the whole world running, and I got something coming. Whoopah, whoopah, whoopah. So that's the Workers' Song by Maya Angelou. And the last one I have for this period is for June 19th, the Read Aloud poem of the day, Do It Yourself, and it's by Robin Mellor. When father decides to mend things, he gets his hammer and saw, some nails and screws and pliers and hinges for the door. And the dog says, woof, woof, woof. And the cat says, meow, meow, meow. And the pictures fall from the wall, crash. When dad tries to fix a cupboard, my dog hides in her bed. My cat goes behind the curtains with his paws up to his head. And the dog says, woof, woof, woof. And the cat says, meow, meow, meow. And the pictures fall from the wall, crash. Our house is held together with sticky tape and string, and we're running out of bandages to wrap poor father in. And the dog says, woof, woof, woof. And the cat says, meow, meow, meow. And the pictures fall from the wall, crash.
Thanks for reading the Maya Angelou poem. It's she was Irma's favourite poet, you know, and she always Irma used to love Ain't I a Woman, which Maya Angelou wrote that because in the 19th century there was a black woman standing there and a coach went by and splashed her all with mud. And there was no concern shown about that or apology. And, you know, she's sort of saying, no, I'm a human being, you know, ain't I a woman? And she wrote that poem about it. Yeah.
Oh,
so,
great.
Yeah.
Anyway. And she remains, I suppose. She's in people's memories as someone.
Thanks. I've got a couple of poems here. I've probably read this before, but it's called Like the Salmon. Suppose, like the salmon, I determined to find my way back to my place of birth, waiting for the rivers to be in full spate, waiting to be borne to shore on high tides, deciding which branches lead to my river. Suppose, like the salmon, I struggled to my last breath to leap up waterfalls, to swim against the battering current, drawn on by some predetermined pathway, struggling back towards my origins. Suppose, like the salmon, I would not relent, impelled by the need to recreate others in my image, in my place, with my fascination to return to what I was, to be who I am, regardless of time and distance. What an achievement. And though it cost my life, who is there to mourn a tired old salmon? And these are the two dog poems I was kind of promising you. Hang on, that's one. Where's the other one gone? I'll find my friend's one. I wanted to find hers because it's such a contrast to mine, really. Hers is a happy one. No, I'll forego that one. I'll just read the one, I think. For Lemon. For Lemon. You came in a cold April gloom when, after losses I could not imagine, much space existed in my heart for a small Bulgarian puppy sent across half a continent by a charity in a lorry full of crated pups with a heart that beat in panic at the enclosing hand of the stranger. who gazed at your eyes, one sky blue, the other chestnut brown. Somehow, in the empty space of me, there was comfort in this oddity, as if life's plans cannot be predictable. I held your tiny warmth to me, wanting to be the mother and father you would never know again. There were weeks when your whole world was me, and you'd howl and rip at whatever was in reach, at any small schism in your small order of things. How soon, though, the year passes, and I look at you bounding across the park with your "I'm the boss, I don't need you" expression, and I can rejoice in your freedom and the paradox of your love. That's it. That's that one. So, have we reached the end? Does anyone want to read anything else?
Nick seems to have found some dog poems.
Oh, Nick's found dog poems, right? Well-versed dog. Have you been dogging, Nick?
It's Lance Percival.
Is it?
Yeah.
Right.
It's a name to take it back.
Yeah, that's true. I remember him.
This one's called Harrier. Till recently, the Harrier was not a well-known name. Then it changed its lifestyle and came back into fame. Harriers used to hunt in packs, chasing after hare. Now they take off vertically, straight up in the air.
You have to know your aeroplanes for that, don't you, Nick?
You do, and you have to know your historic aeroplanes by now.
Yeah, you do.
There's a Shih Tzu. Maybe I shouldn't read that one.
I beg your pardon?
The Shih Tzu.
All right.
A Shih Tzu is the lion dog of Tibet and China fame. A Shih Tzu bears the great traditions of the Buddhist flame. A Shih Tzu is a breed to be admired, but all the same, a Shih Tzu on the pavement outside my house lived up to its name.
Oh, was it a brown one?
It might well have been. But yeah, they're not the best poems, but they're lovely and funny, and
yeah,
nicely illustrated by Romana from Doctor Who.
I was still looking for this other poem, and I can't find it, so just mark it down to experience. Right, so Joel had the same experience when he was looking for his lost poem tonight, so I'll share that. Well, everyone, thanks a lot. It's really lovely to be back again.